Hey there, ready to dive into the world of YouTube? We're talking billions of views, millions of creators. You've sent over some seriously interesting stuff about YouTube, and I'm ready to unpack how this platform went from, well, a simple idea to a global phenomenon.
I think what's so fascinating is how it all began. I mean, think about it. It was just a short, almost accidental video, me at the zoo.
Oh, absolutely. That's like YouTube legend status.
Yeah.
Seriously, though, who knew a trip to the zoo could spark, like, a digital revolution? It's like tossing a paper airplane and somehow launching a global airline.
That's a great analogy because what YouTube really did was tap into this massive need for easy video sharing. Like back then, try emailing a large video file. It was practically impossible. YouTube came in and just, boom, made it so simple for everyone.
So we've got easy uploads, a world hungry for video content, and then bam, YouTube explodes. What was the turning point? Was it just a matter of time?
I mean, sure, viral growth was definitely a factor baked right into YouTube's DNA. But don't underestimate the Google acquisition back in 2006. That was a game changer.
Yeah, talk about leveling up. No wonder they became the go-to for, well, everything. Speaking of global, did you see those stats about their reach? India alone, over 467 million users.
Mind-boggling, right? But when you think about it, with more people, especially in those densely populated areas, getting access to the internet, it makes sense. Suddenly, entertainment, education, even global news, it's all readily available.
It's like opening a window to a whole new world, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but let's get into the specifics for a sec. So men and women, pretty equally represented on the platform, but their content preferences surprisingly different. I'll admit my YouTube history is probably like a sea of makeup tutorials.
And that's such a great example of those demographic nuances, right? A makeup tutorial is going to land differently than, say, a video game walkthrough. It's all about that targeted content.
Knowing your audience is key, and YouTube definitely gives you the data to do it. But let's not forget, this platform is about way more than just entertainment. Educational content, breaking news, even global conversations happening on YouTube. It's really become a platform for, well, pretty much everything.
And that's what I find so interesting. You've got this democratization of content creation, for better or for worse. Anyone with a phone and internet can potentially reach a global audience.
Right. It's kind of like, whoa, the power is in everyone's hands now. But of course, that comes with its own set of challenges. It's like the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Exactly. I mean, you think about it, something like edutainment, right? You've got these incredible channels dedicated to making learning fun, accessible, those crash course videos, the science experiments. It's amazing. But then there's, well, the other side of the coin, misinformation, those conspiracy theories.
Yeah. It's like YouTube is this like reflection of us, you know, both the good and the not so good.
Yeah.
Speaking of reflections, remember we were looking at those top search trends?
Yeah.
Music, gaming, no surprise there. But educational content, not too far behind. Seems like people want entertainment and like self-improvement all in one spot.
It is interesting. It's like you can learn how to fix that leaky faucet while watching someone's hilarious DIY disaster. It's engaging.
Totally. It's not just like passively watching anymore. And speaking of those trends, I was kind of surprised, but also like weirdly comforted to see PewDiePie still up there.
It shows the power of personality. You know, people connect with that, with someone who feels, I don't know, authentic.
Yeah, like a digital pen pal, but they just happen to share your love of like, I don't know, obscure video game lore or something. It's building connections regardless of where you are in the world.
And that's what's so amazing about this whole thing. It's the democratization of it all. You know, traditional media, it used to be controlled by, well, a select few. YouTube flipped the script.
Yeah. It's exciting, but also kind of daunting. Like anyone with a smartphone can reach millions. But that also means we've got to be responsible, right? Combating misinformation, promoting good content.
Definitely a balancing act, and one that YouTube grapples with constantly. Moderating content, addressing hate speech, trying to prevent, you know, harmful stuff from spreading, all while, like, upholding free speech.
It's a tough line to walk, for sure, and it brings up some really complex questions about technology and ethics and, well, the future of online spaces in general.
For sure. And those questions get even trickier when you factor in, you know, sensitive geopolitical stuff. Like our sources mentioned the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and content moderation in that kind of environment. It's tough.
It's like a minefield. Content gets flagged for, say, promoting violence or hate speech. But then you have creators saying their voices are being silenced.
Exactly. It highlights that tension between free speech and, well, responsible content moderation. It's not always so black and white.
Absolutely not. It requires nuance. But shifting gears a bit, did any of the other top search trends surprise you? And I've got to say, I was really interested in the whole book-related content on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. It's like a whole world.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Literary analysis, reviews, fan videos. It's like a giant global book club. And I thought it was really interesting that our sources specifically called out the Bible as being consistently popular.
It speaks to the diversity, right?
Totally. It's
Right.
not just about what's trendy or celebrity gossip. It's a place for intellectual curiosity, for everything.
Oh, absolutely.
And of course, you can't forget about those like viral trends and memes. They might be fleeting, but they're like a snapshot of, well, the internet's attention span at any given moment.
Little time capsules, you know?
Totally. Who knows what the next big thing will be? That's part of what makes YouTube so like engaging. It's constantly changing, surprising us, and yeah, sometimes even making us laugh until we cry.
Absolutely. As we keep going down this digital rabbit hole, it's important to ask ourselves, how has YouTube affected our own online experiences?
Right. We've gone from a shaky zoo video to like dissecting global issues and like the power of these online communities. YouTube's definitely left its mark. It's kind of wild when you think about it. That whole journey from like a shaky zoo video to this massive platform that's shaping, well, everything. How we learn, how we see the world is crazy.
Right. I mean, talk about technology changing things up. YouTube's not just about like passively watching anymore, right? It's a place where people actually connect, debate, build these communities.
It's like the world's biggest digital campfire. Except instead of telling stories about, hunting and gathering, we're swapping makeup tips or debating, like, I don't know, the latest scientific discoveries.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, watching the occasional cat video too, of course.
And that's what's so cool about it. You've got this amazing representation of, well, us, our experiences, our interests. A teenager's bedroom can become this global stage. A hobby can become a career.
It's empowering, for sure. But with that comes, well, responsibility for like creators, for those of us consuming the content, to be mindful of what we're putting out there and what we're taking in.
Absolutely. We've talked about content moderation, the whole misinformation battle. As viewers, we've got to be thinking critically, questioning what we see, looking for different points of view.
Not just like passively scrolling,
Yeah.
right? We're active participants in this whole thing. Which brings us back to that question from before about how YouTube has shaped our own experiences online.
Have you found yourself like naturally drawn to certain types of videos? Has it changed how you learn, how you connect?
It's made me realize, like, the potential for positive change on these platforms is huge. But it's also a reminder that at the end of the day, technology is a tool. It's
Yeah.
up to us to use it wisely and, well, ethically.
Right. I mean, as we keep moving forward in this whole digital world, we have to remember that behind every video, every comment, there's a real person,
Absolutely. Fostering empathy, understanding, especially in a space that can feel, well, kind of impersonal sometimes. So as you're navigating the wild world of YouTube, remember, we all play a part in shaping this digital landscape.
Be curious, be critical, and above all, be kind. Because the YouTube story, even the internet as a whole, it's still being written. We all have a hand in deciding what the next chapter holds.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's it for our deep dive into the world of YouTube.